we'll move to the next question. Any misconceptions about you that you want to clear up?
Well,
you actually confirmed a misconception for everybody tonight. You said, "Oh, well, if Jocko's going to train somebody, he's going to need to beat them," and that's like people always think that, and it's just so wrong, so wrong. And I mean, I'm not going to go into it now because I talk about it on the podcast all the time that stuff is ineffective, and you actually have to lead people, and so. But that was a good misconception. You piled on. I'll now spend another 5 years trying to debunk that and prove to people that I'm not a drill instructor with a lash. But it's good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Which was deliberate. I'm just Jocko's so effective at busting my balls on Twitter, and then everyone takes it literally. I'm like, okay, well, I have to take this opportunity. But so first misconception. So the cocaine and whores only twice a week, folks. It is not disabling. That's a joke, internet, by the way. So I'd say the biggest misconception is, and it's very understandable. Look, I mean, my book titles, I didn't expect the 4-hour thing to become a thing. So the 4-hour work week, funny story behind that. The original idea for the title, and I had dozens, but the one that I ended up testing first was the 2-hour work week, which was about as the amount of time I was spending managing my company at the time. And some people at the publisher were like, "That's way too unrealistic. 2 hours a week." And I was like, 4 hours a week? And they're like, "That's so much better." I was like, "Okay, perfect."
Nailed it.
And it sounds like a product you'd see after like the spray on hair and before the rotisserie chicken at 3 a.m. I mean, it sounds like an infomercial product. So I get it. But the biggest misconception from people who have not read the book or books is that I advocate idleness.
Oh, okay.
And that's not the case. I have no problem with hard work as long as it's focused on the right things. So I think of maximizing per hour output. That doesn't mean I advocate dropping a bunch of acid and like watching your cat walk around the house for 12 hours a day. That doesn't do much good for anyone. So that's the biggest misconception. I have no problem with hard work. I just abhor doing something well that shouldn't be done at all. I think that's a waste of skill and a waste of energy. That's the biggest. There are plenty of other ones.
Something too that you need to watch out for is just because you work hard doesn't mean that you're doing good. Right. I mean, there's a bunch of little sayings about that, but just because you're working hard and getting up early and you think you're getting after it, you might be moving a lot, but you're not making any progress. And there's a big difference there. And I think that's something that people need to watch out for as well.
Right. So for instance, I think the prioritize and execute, people need to, I think that's such an important starting point. Like what you do is infinitely more important than how you do something. If you have a list of unimportant to-dos and you're killing it with the unimportant to-dos, That's still a chalking up to a loss.
Yeah. And you're still losing, my friend.
You're still losing. So for me, it's when people ask me about time management, I'm like, no. Like if you don't have time, you don't have priorities. So focus on the what should you be doing. And for me, The Effective Executive by Peter Drucker is the classic there. Don't worry about your apps and your email management and so on. Just read a book that's a few decades old that just talks about prioritizing. So the biggest misconception, just the whole 4-hour shtick that is my blessing and my curse forever. That part, which is another reason why this is my first book without 4-hour in the title.
Oh, hopefully it'll sell.
We'll see. I also lost the Timothy and went to Tim, just so I don't have to feel like I'm getting chastised by my mom every time I'm
What made you
interviewed.
go Timothy on the first ones?
I don't know. Sounded more official. I have no idea. I honestly have no idea.
Awesome.